This video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you need a website or domain, go to squarespace.com/Simon. Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. In a recent video, I explained how ETTR worked. That is, exposed to the right. I mentioned that by letting in more light onto your sensor with longer shutter speeds or larger apertures, your histogram would move to the right and would allow more photons onto your sensor, improving the image quality. But several people noticed that while there are 3 factors that impact image brightness, I only mentioned 2 of them. What about ISO? Can you expose to the right with ISO 2? That's what this video will explain. Stay for my bonus tip on what the relationship is between this discussion on higher ISOs and dynamic range. My name is Simon d'Entremont, and I'm a professional nature and wildlife photographer living in Eastern Canada. I make weekly videos giving you photo tips or taking you behind the scenes for nature and wildlife photography. Subscribe if you want to see more.
Try to open up your mind sometimes. You'll be just fine.
Okay, a few basics to understand so this video will make sense. In the last video, I compared 2 images I'd taken in the field in Kenya of a giraffe-necked antelope. Both were taken at ISO 12,800 and f4, but one was at 1/2000th of a second and the other at 1/320th of a second shutter speed, almost 3 stops brighter, and allowing more photons to reach the sensor. Now, popular opinion would suggest that at the same ISO, the image noise should be similar, because people are led to believe that it's the ISO setting that controls the noise. It isn't. When I raise the brightness of the darker image that gathered less light onto the sensor, we clearly see that it's the noisier image. Noise is determined by how much light hits the sensor, and there's a correlation with ISO, not causation, as high ISOs mean that the image has received a low amount of light. Low light means a poor signal-to-noise ratio, and a poor signal-to-noise ratio is what causes noise. Now, some people criticized my experiment and said that what was making the darker image noisy was raising the brightness to match the brighter image. Sorry, but if I lower the brightness of the brighter image to the same brightness as the darker one, it's still much cleaner. So why is this happening? I'm not going to go over noise and how ISO works in great detail, as I've done that in other videos. You can learn more about that here, but make sure you come back. The issue here is that in the traditional exposure triangle, the 3 settings that affect image brightness are shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. But longer shutter speeds and larger apertures actually mean more light is collected, real photons. But ISO is a standout. Higher ISOs don't collect more light. Nor is it what everyone is told that it's increased sensitivity. Let's quickly look at how a sensor works. Light in the form of photons hits the sensor and are converted to voltage, the strength of which is proportional to the number of photon hits. But contrary to what people are told, camera sensors are designed with a fixed sensitivity. Most sensors have 1 and sometimes 2 sensitivity levels to light. These latter ones are called dual gain sensors. But the important point here is that ISO is just a digital gain or volume applied to the image after it's taken to increase its brightness. Calling ISO sensitivity to light is just a hangover to film ASA, where higher rated film was indeed more sensitive to light. So after the photon hits the sensor, the electrical charge is amplified in what's called conversion gain, or in regular camera talk, ISO. The higher the ISO, the more amplification that's used. And by the way, after I explain this, some people still don't believe me that ISO is just a digital volume knob or gain. So to note, on my astrophotography cameras like this one, there is no ISO setting to make the image brighter. There is indeed a setting to make the image brighter, and it's actually called gain. Now, images that are light starved in camera because of low light, fast shutter speeds, and small apertures need brightening to make them look like what we see. Those need high ISOs. Because they have low light, they can look noisy from what's called a poor signal-to-noise ratio. That is, not enough light to overcome the noise from the random nature of photons of light. This noise is the main type of noise we deal with in modern photography. It's called shot noise, or also photon noise. It's analogous to you putting a lot of glasses outside in a rainstorm, and not all glasses will collect the same number of raindrops. I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. If you haven't heard of them, they're an all-in-one website platform that helps you create your website from scratch. You don't need any coding experience or even to be tech savvy. They have lots of templates to choose from to make it easy to get your own website up and running in no time. Even though they have great templates like ones for photography, for example, the place to go now is to use their new Design Intelligence feature, using both Squarespace's experience and cutting-edge AI, helping you to tailor your own website to your own needs. It can even help you write text or describe your business products or do search engine optimization for you. It looks really professional to have online galleries and your own domain. And a website is also a great way to monetize your work by setting up an online store using Squarespace payments, which you can set up with just a few clicks. You can even do buy now and pay later with options like Afterpay, collect by credit card and PayPal, and even send out invoices for payment. Go to squarespace.com to sign up for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Simon for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now, there's another type of noise that can show up in your photos called read noise or digital noise. This is caused by the electronics in your camera. You can actually take a picture of this by taking a photo with the lens cap on or in a pitch black room. When you raise the exposure in processing software, you get a noisy mess, but you also see the pattern of the electronics of your sensor. But the main thing to remember is that modern cameras are increasingly doing a great job of controlling this type of noise. Unless you're taking really long exposures like in astrophotography where we can take 10-minute exposures, this noise isn't much of an issue. So the question posed and which we need to answer here is, does moving the exposure and the histogram to the right do any good for the quality of our image if we use ISO to do it? That is, if the shutter speed and aperture are constant between two images and the amount of light hitting the sensor is the same, will raising the ISO do anything beneficial? Let's have a look at these two images taken of my little owl buddy. Both of these photos are taken at 1/500th of a second at f5 using a Canon R5. But the ISO is 3200 on one and 12800 on the other, two stops apart. The ISO 12800 image is brighter and its histogram is pushed off to the right, so what we'd call an image using the ETTR technique, but using the ISO to brighten the image. When I match the exposures by raising one image by one stop and lowering the brighter one by one stop, the noise profile at 100% zoom is identical. So let's go back to what we learned earlier to understand what we're seeing here. Both of these photos had the same shutter speed and aperture setting, so the same amount of light. The only difference was the ISO, or the amount of digital brightening that was done. The result? They look the same. Based on what we know about photon noise, this is what should have been expected. Same number of photons leads to the same signal to noise ratio, which leads to a similar noise profile in the image. Now you may be saying, yes, that's nice for you to say. You have a nice modern full frame camera. What if I don't have that? Well, let's run the same test using a Canon 7D Mark II, launched over 10 years ago in 2014. As you can see, again, the same noise profile when the only setting change is the ISO. Also, I've looked at similar tests done with other brands, and with modern cameras, the results are similar. This phenomenon of being able to take photos with varying ISOs and get similar results is called ISO invariance. Now, if you run this test at home and don't get the same result, what's happening? That might indeed be the case with some cameras older than 10 years ago. If you shot a Canon 5D Mark III or the original Canon 7D, you may get a different result. Why? Because some older cameras didn't do a good job at controlling read noise or the noise caused by electronics. As when you underexpose those sensors and try to brighten them in post, especially in the shadows, the noise could be quite bad. In those cases, using ISO to raise the image brightness could help a bit, as higher ISOs or gains can indeed lower read noise. Higher ISOs give lower noise? For some types of noise, yes. This is a well-known fact in astrophotography where long exposures like 5 or 10 minutes can really bring out noise in the electronics, and raising the gain or ISO will lessen the noise as long as you realize that you may lose dynamic range and risk clipping your highlights. A high ISO is why this photo of mine has great detail, but the center of the stars are blown out. A worthwhile trade-off in this particular case. By the way, sign up to my email list and you can download my guide for shooting backlit for free. Link below. Now I just mentioned dynamic range in astrophotography. How does this apply to our terrestrial daytime photography? Similarly, it turns out that raising your ISO can reduce your dynamic range, as your darks can be a little bit lighter, but there's a limited room to make your lights lighter. That's because every photo site on your sensor, the pixels, have a maximum amount of light they can capture before being saturated or full. This is called the full well depth. Once full, the pixel becomes pure white with no detail or data. That's generally bad for us in photography. As such, shooting at higher ISOs to expose to the right not only doesn't produce cleaner images, it risks blowing out your highlights. How can we put this knowledge into practice in real life? First, using ETTR is indeed a good practice for improving image quality, but only if you can do it by adding real photons onto your sensor. That is, increasing your shutter speed or opening up the aperture to make the image brighter when possible. 2, using your ISO to brighten the image and move the histogram to the right isn't going to help. Maybe a wee bit of help on older sensors by improving read noise. And 3, you may be saying, can I use long exposure noise reduction in my camera to reduce noise? You can, but it will only help with digital noise caused by the electronics, not shot noise, which is the real issue we have in daytime photography. So for your Milky Way photo, yes. Your bird photos, no. If you're wondering how that works, the camera takes a photo of the digital noise profile like I showed you earlier with the photo taken that was totally black, and saves that, and when you take another photo, it removes that digitally, which takes the noise out of the photo. This is in a similar way that noise canceling headphones take the frequencies that you want to block out of your signal, nullifying them. If you want to check out my previous video on ETTR for more of the backstory on this, you can check it out right here. If this video is deserving, give it a like, and I hope you can use these tips to get out there soon and get your own unique and amazing photos. I know you can do it.